Tell us a little bit about you and your academy, please.
I'm the school founder and the director and manager of the New Global School of English in Cordoba. It's a private language school that opened in 2008, and every year we have around 400 students in our classrooms. Our school philosophy lies in the power of motivation as a keystone for learning, and we combine different teaching approaches, always understanding English as a lingua franca and a tool for real communication in a globalized world.
Can you explain what the GSE is?
Well, the Global Scale of English is a global standard for measuring English language proficiency and progress. In my humble opinion, it's a much more accurate and a specific scale than the Common European Framework because the levels in the European framework are too wide to be able to measure progress on a regular basis in all the skills. It doesn't really provide any information about grammar and vocabulary, given that the European framework applies to all the European languages. And that's why the GSE serves as a much more specific scale to measure the progress for teachers, students, and also the school.
When did you first hear about the GSE?
I can't exactly remember when I heard about it for the first time, but at least 6 years ago, I guess. My person rep talked to me about it when I was deciding about a new course book to introduce in the scale of levels in my school. This is how I started to read and research about the GSE, and reading about it helped me a lot because the new book was aligned to the GSE and helped me to make the decision of choosing that book and many other decisions from that day on.
What are the main benefits you have seen from the GSE?
I think that as a director of studies, the GSE has provided us with a robust criteria to establish the learning objectives in each of our levels, as well as a clearer plan on how to achieve all these goals with more strictness.
How are your teachers using the GSE in their day to day?
The use of the GSE in our school is well supported by Pearson coursework because we use Pearson books. So for teachers, it's not a very tough work as all the books underpin the GSE objectives too. On a daily basis, teachers can select the most important objectives for each unit, for each lesson, and they can have more time to plan on activities. So I would say that the GSE is a kind of time saver which also offers confidence to the teachers to feel that they are planning with very smart goals.
What are the main ways the GSE supports your teachers?
Apart from helping them to be more selective and choosing smart goals, I think that the GSE support teachers very well in terms of assessment. The GSE assessment frameworks for speaking, writing, listening, and reading were developed in collaboration with assessment experts to provide a resource for formative assessment. We are very into formative assessment, and the way that the framework helps us is very user-friendly for teachers. So the can-do statements are very easy to understand, and there is also a specific assessment framework for young learners, which is different to the one for adults.
How does the GSE help your teachers be more selective in what they teach?
I think teachers plan with more efficiency as they can plan on the key language skills following the scale 10 to 19 scale, but also they can define these objectives, shape them, establish priorities on the different activities, and teaching aspects such as personalization, collaborative learning, the zone of proximal development through the scaffolding also happen at the same time. So apart from that, teachers have the opportunity to use the GSE toolkit, and it includes the grammar objectives, vocabulary entries, and a text analyzer. So altogether, it's like a great source of tools for them.
What words would you use to describe the GSE?
Well, I would say it's accurate, it's realistic, smart, and evidence-based.
What are the benefits of using the GSE for your students?
Well, students go through the learning journey and they have phases of motivation but also demotivation, especially when the reason for learning is more practical, like I need a certificate, for example, rather than an internal desire to learn a language. So sometimes the distance between a level and the next one, for example, the gap reaching B1 and B2 or B2 and Z1 is like a wide gap. I think that for students, visualizing the progress is really helpful in order to keep the motivation high. And also the benchmark tests are really useful, even though when they are not ready to get a certificate, but they can reach a proof of the real progress on that level. So I think it's really motivating for students.